Not hiding the focus location is crucial for users to know where they are on the page. In this unit, we're looking into Success Criterion 2.4.12, which explains Focus Obscured Enhanced. I'll detail the intent of this criterion and what it actually means, explain the impact to the user, the criterion addresses, some ways it could be passed, ways it won't, and follow with the summary of what you need to do to pass. By the end of the unit, you'll have a solid understanding of why it matters, understand the user's impact and how to pass the criterion. 2.4.12 Focus Not Obscured Enhanced is a criterion supporting keyboard users and those users with cognitive and memory impairments. It's a AAA criterion, and to pass, any UI component that receives keyboard focus is not hidden due to author-created content. Now, if you're working through the course sequentially, you may be thinking this criterion sounds very similar to Criterion 2.4.11, and it is, except this criterion is even more restrictive. Whereas 2.4.11 allowed partially obscured interactive content, 2.4.12 doesn't. It has no such provision and must not obscure any content. Knowing the current focus position is crucial when users can't see items in focus. Without this clear reference, they may not know how to proceed. If sticky headers, footers, or an overlay of some sort is used, and these hide keyboard focusable content beneath, this becomes problematic. Success Criterion 2.4.12 Focus Not Obscured Enhanced requires elements are not obscured even partially by other content when they receive focus. Previously, we said best practice is to not obscure interactive content, but that it was allowed at conformance level AA. At AAA, it's no longer allowed. The criterion benefits all keyboard users, particularly some users with the cognitive or memory impairments, by ensuring that it's easy to identify where the focus position is at all times. So we know the problem the criterion attempts to solve, but what is the impact to a user? This is Julie. She has a limited movement in her dominant hand and prefers to use the keyboard when navigating web content. When pop-ups and dialogues open, she constantly finds it difficult trying to determine where the keyboard focus has moved to, and it becomes a fatiguing experience trying to backtrack to find the last known position of the keyboard focus. The criterion requires content doesn't obscure other keyboard focusable elements at all. In other words, avoid sticky headers, footers, and any floating content which appears above focusable interactive content must itself capture and trap the keyboard until the floating content is dismissed. Correctly constructed dialogues following ARIA authoring guidelines will always pass this criterion, even though they may completely hide interactive content behind it. This is because focus is moved to the dialogue when it's shown, and a user cannot interact with any other content beneath as the keyboard interaction is constrained. So what exactly does passing this success criterion look like? Since focus is not obscured because it is contained within the dialogue until it is dismissed, this passes. Since a dialogue pattern has been coded against ARIA guidelines and constrains keyboard focus when open, this passes. What does failing this success criterion look like? Since focus is not constrained to the header, interactive elements beneath become focusable and entirely obscured. This fails. Sticky headers, footers, overlays, in fact anything that obscures interactive focusable elements and which has not been coded to constrain the keyboard focus and be modal, is a problem for users. Always ensure content appearing above focusable elements is dismissible and constrains the keyboard focus, and consider introducing a design which relies less on being sticky. Content displayed above focusable elements is not permitted unless coded correctly. Modal dialogues will always pass this criterion when coded correctly following ARIA authoring guidelines and have a constrained keyboard interaction. Dialogues and pop-ups constrain keyboard focus until the pop-up content is closed. Pop-ups don't obscure keyboard focusable elements. In the next unit, I'll look at 2.4.13 Focus Appearance, a AAA criterion which discusses techniques for improving the focus effect on interactive elements.